Yeah, I don't have that case because I wasn't here last month.
All right, so we at 10?
We're live, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so this is the Painesville Township Board of Zoning Appeals. We'll call the meeting to order. And we have a kind of a treat tonight that we're actually in person, so we've been foregoing the Pledge of Allegiance, but I'm going to ask those members in attendance to let's stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Next, Rachel, if you would do the roll call for the members, please, of the board.
Okay, Dave Inzera,
Here.
Randy,
Here.
Dave Lindros,
Here.
Ken Sullivan, who's absent, and Dale Lewis.
Here.
And I'm here.
Oh, Chairman, sorry.
I'm here. All right, at this time, Jason, if you want to explain to anybody that plans on testifying why they need to be sworn, and go ahead and swear them in.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I was actually thinking maybe I'd swear them in. I can give my spiel now as to why I need to, and then maybe just swear them in as each case is called, since
All
we
right,
have
if
quite a
that's the way-
few
if
tonight.
That's the way you prefer to do it. We'll do it that way.
Okay, so, all right, good evening, everyone. My name's Jason Hartzell. I'm the legal advisor for the Painesville Township Board of Zoning Appeals. Hearings in front of the board are considered quasi-judicial in nature, and that's because the board's decisions can be appealed to the Lake County Common Pleas Court. If a decision were to be appealed, the court would rely on the record created at the hearing in deciding that appeal. And in order for the court to be able to rely on that record, testimony must be given under oath. So anybody tonight who wishes to speak for or against a requested variance or conditional use permit must first take an oath to tell the truth. And as each case is called, we'll ask if there's anybody who wishes to speak for or against it, and I'll swear you in at that time.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, so the first one, Rachel, if you want to read, we're going to look at the continued case 21 BZA-01. If you just want to read that over again, please.
Okay, applicant Hema J1 LLC filed a variance application for property located at 880 Oakwood Boulevard. The request is to allow a 31-foot by 15-foot pole building to maintain a 0-foot setback from the main dwelling in violation of section 15.02 C5, which requires a minimum separation of 10 feet between accessory structures and a dwelling.
Okay. I've asked Harley if there's going to be any representation from this applicant, and apparently there is not. They're getting a survey done to address the setbacks.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the survey was completed last week, but they're waiting for the document from the surveyor.
Okay, so he's asking for this to be continued again?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
All right, in fairness to the applicant and in fairness to everyone else, we had asked for a couple of other things. And Mr. Lewis, who is a former battalion chief from the Mentor Fire Department, is a substitute this week. He's picked up the packet, and he's noticed some things on the drawings and the pictures here. And Dale, if you would like to go over what your concerns are with this?
Well, my concerns aren't particularly fire-related, but to start with, it seems like if you're gonna have a 10-foot separation requirement, and you take it down to a 0 separation, it's not an accessory building any longer, it's an addition. But be that as it may, I don't know how the process goes, and as a question I had to the board. Does this now, if we were to grant this, go to the building department for them to make it an inspection? It has already been built. And, I'm only looking at some pictures, but I don't think they would pass a building that's got a footer and allow it to be attached to a pole building without, the most I've ever seen is when they'll do it with a breezeway, but to attach a footered building, which is the main structure, to a pole building, and then if you look at the pictures, it looks like it's not only a pole building, it's a pole building built with one whole side missing because they attached it to a building. So it's, you know, it's hard to tell from a picture, but I have some concerns that it's structurally competent. And I wanted to make sure if we were to talk about the variance, whether it goes back to the building inspector to take a look at it, because I think they would require at the least some sort of structural engineer or something to okay what's been done on the, you know.
Or some type of firewall or,
Well, the firewall's another concern. I mean, it's drywall and I think or vinyl sided, so I just, you know, they need a 1 hour fire rating between a normal garage. But I guess that's what this is becoming now, is a garage. But my real concern is, if the variance is passed and it's already been built, does it go back to the building inspector for them to take a look at it and make sure that that part of it's done correctly? Or does it just now, is it okay now if we say, you know, the variance is all right? But, you know, if it doesn't go back to them, then I have a problem with passing it and laying it on our shoulders that it's structurally, you know, well. I have doubts that it is, but it's not you know, it's not our job to determine whether it's built properly. It's whether or not the variances or the setbacks are allowed to be.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, that's a very important point. I think we had talked about this at our last meeting, and Rich, if you wanted to weigh in, but I think it was stated that the applicant would require a building permit if we were to grant a variance. That would be incumbent on the applicant to secure a building permit. Is that correct, Rich?
To the best of my knowledge, that is totally correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Rich, wouldn't I didn't mean to interrupt, but wouldn't they have red tagged that if they had caught it? Isn't that how that would have been done? I've never had to deal with it, but my understanding is if they came out and somebody had built a building without a permit, they would have stopped it until everything was done correctly. Is it?
Well, I am assuming that what you're saying is totally correct. However, none of us discovered that the building was up until it was already up. So everything we are doing is post build. No permits were acquired or granted by either the township or the county, and we're just trying to catch up to the fact that a building was built, and is it legitimate within the township guidelines? No, not without BZA approval. Will it meet county standards, even if BZA approval is granted for the zoning conflicts? We don't know that. So that's all I can say. You know, we have decisions at the township level we can make. The project still must be approved at the county level through the building permit process. I have no idea how that is going to play out.
Richard, I wasn't here last meeting, but were there plans that were drawn up for this addition?
I do not no.
No.
Okay. Harley.
No, we didn't receive any building plans. The build itself was done by, I believe, the property owner's handyman. Whether or not they can meet building code, I did address it with them at the time of addressing the fact that they built without permits, that they would need a building permit, but advised that without zoning, you won't get a building permit anyway. So if you want to move forward and try to keep your structure, you need to address the zoning first and then move forward with the building department and see if you can keep the structure. But they're well aware that they have another hurdle.
Jason, I'm going to ask you a question. Dale Lewis brought up a good point. If we would go ahead and just say we would approve this, and then the building department would come in and say, well, this needs to be done, that needs to be done, this needs to be done. I just go back to what our job is here. We are asked to look at a variance for a 0-foot setback from the main structure. Now, that's assuming that the structure that we're considering has a correct building permit, has correct inspection, and is deemed safe. Now, I don't feel this board's responsibility is to make a decision on a setback judgment until the applicant goes through the right steps and does his homework and tells us, okay, the building that is in question is properly built, its proper permits have been pulled, and everything else. That's the way I would like to see this proceed. And Jason, I don't know if you agree with that. Is that the correct path to take?
So I agree with the general sentiment, but I think Harley's correct in that the county's not going to issue a permit unless they know that it satisfies our zoning requirements.
So, Mr. Chairman, should this board approve the request, could we put in as a condition of that approval that it meets safety requirements and approval of the building department as well? And if it doesn't meet that, then that negates our decision at this point.
I guess that's the way we're going to have to go if the zoning comes before, if the horse comes before the building, essentially, if the zoning permission comes before the inspection. What's the normal procedure if somebody wants to put a building up? Don't they go and get a permit, or do they have to get the zoning first? I guess they have to get the zoning first.
Yeah, I believe one of the aspects of getting that building permit is showing zoning compliance. So if he had not built the structure first, this would be step one in getting the variance. So now he can show zoning compliance, and then he'd go to the county to get his permit from the county.
So Rich, your office knows what needs to be done for this to meet the standards as far as an inspection and a building permit and everything else. Is that correct?
I believe the zoning office understands that the current building, which is already in place without a permit, violates the separation between a main dwelling and an accessory building. It appears from looking at overheads of the property that the addition does not conform to side and rear yard clearance requirements, but we don't know that. The applicant has agreed to get a survey. We don't have the survey results in hand, so I don't know that the Board of Zoning Appeals right now tonight is in a position to make a decision on this case until you are properly informed as to a certified surveyor's assessment of the rear and side yard clearances which currently exist. I just don't know how you could do that.
So it sounds like we need the survey first to get all the lot lines and the
Well,
distances.
we need to look at the whole picture. We don't have the whole picture right
And
now.
then we would act as if this building is not even there, and we would either approve or not approve the variance. And then, if we approved it, then it would go to permits and building inspectors and all that stuff.
Right.
Is that right?
Correct.
I would say
Yeah.
to expedite this evening, we don't have the survey right now. So my suggestion is somebody make a motion to continue this until next month, till our next meeting, and then we'll consider it then once we have the surveys.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
it's also, the request that he's making is for the separation setback and potentially 2 additional ones. It's not a accessory building when it's attached, and it's an addition of a garage. So he doesn't really need to have variance to put an addition of a garage on, I don't think. But if he needs a variance, it would be on the side setback and the rear property line setback. Is that right, Rich? But this actual variance kinda
That
goes
is correct. If the board determines that this is not a standalone accessory building, but should be treated as an addition to the main building, then the only two parameters that the board has to consider are the actual rear and side yard clearance areas.
well, it's attached. It doesn't even have a wall there. You know, where it's attached, he just left
Is
that
it,
wall out.
is this attached at the roof line? Is that where it's attached, or it's hard to tell from the pictures where these, I don't know, are they actually into the wall?
Yeah, that's the sided wall is
Here.
the house.
I mean, but is this just touching it, or is it actually physically attached to
Well, this is
it?
a pole that he put up. And I don't know what he did against the other side.
Is it just leaning against it, Rich? You saw it, or is it actually attached, physically attached to it?
Well, I'm not sure. I was not inside this addition. It looks like it is built very close to the main building, but I personally cannot testify as to whether or not there is a wall attached to the roof of the addition, which goes down, parallel to the wall of the building, but maintains a separation from the main building. I can't do that. Perhaps one of the ways the board could assess the situation is to schedule an inspection to see if, in fact, there is a wall attached to the roof of the so-called addition or accessory building, which maintains some separation from the main building. I hope that makes sense. Yeah.
It does, and I guess what constitutes an addition or a zero setback? Is it a nail going through a wall or a nail going into a stud? I think somebody, like you say, somebody needs to look at it, and so we know what we're dealing with. Are we dealing with an addition or a pole barn that's leaning up, almost leaning right next to an existing structure? And if the roof line, you can't tell from any of these pictures, it looks like the roof goes right over to it. If there's a valley attached to both pieces,
Well, either they have to have, it has to be attached at the roof line, or you've got water running down either one.
yeah.
You know, I would assume that they did some kind of attachment, but
Mr. Chairman, I did go and look at the property before the meeting last month, and I walked away thinking it was an attachment to the building, and I was going. So the question is, I think it's a germane question: is it a standalone building or an attachment? And so, anything we can do between now and next meeting to resolve that would be a good thing. And I did have a question, Rich. We did, as a board, require that the applicant that we would get guidance from the Painesville Township Fire Department in regards to the property, because we had some concerns about what was being stored in the property, and so is that still something that we can arrange to have done between now and the next meeting, just to help inform us as to what the situation is?
I would actually like to defer to Harley on that because she has been communicating with the property owner, and I'm not sure what the totality of the communications has been.
I did mention this project and showed the photos to our fire chief. While he made some comments about his personal feelings about the structure, he said from a fire standpoint, he had no concerns. It would be, just recently, maybe a couple years back, there was discussion about requiring setbacks between a main dwelling and a detached garage or a shed. And the fire chief at that time expressed no concern with having a 0 setback. The only reason a setback from the main dwelling was maintained was because it was determined by the trustees at that time that it was just preferable to have some distance, otherwise the property would look too cluttered. But Rich was at least a part of those conversations with the fire chief. He just, that was his stance at that time. And in my discussion with him regarding this, however, he didn't go out to the property, and if the board would like, I can arrange it with the fire chief to go out with me and we can look at it together.
I think I would like to see that happen with the main question, how would the fire chief classify this? As a pole barn with 0 clearance or as an addition to the existing structure? And if it is an addition to the existing structure, does he have any concerns?
Okay, Mr.
If
Chairman,
we
I
could
can
get,
get
if we
that
could get that information by the next meeting, that would be very beneficial, that and the survey.
And then thirdly, Mr. Chairman, if they determine that it is in addition to the existing structure, as Mr. Lewis pointed out, really this variance is not applicable, correct?
This one is non-applicable.
Right.
We just have to worry about the setbacks for the
Right.
addition. And if I'm correct, on an addition to the main, well, this isn't an R1. They're different for a main structure and for an accessory building. So we need to find out, it's gonna be determined how this is classified, whether it's an addition or a different structure. So if you could have the fire chief let us know about that, that would be a big help. Okay, so with that, does someone want to make a motion to continue this?
I just
waiting
have
for those results?
one more question.
Sure.
Would it be to maintain this case if you were just to put up a stud wall on the inside up against the house to make that a separate dwelling? Would that be able to continue this case, or do you have to rewrite it and have it be an addition? I mean, that's something we're gonna find out later. when
Yeah, that's
we do
something
a
I think the
walkthrough.
building inspector needs to do.
I don't think we would pass building inspection with it tied together that way. I mean,
I don't think it would pass, but
well,
I'm just wondering, if, like, to keep a separate structure, you would have to have a stud wall in between
yeah,
the two, but
Well, let's find out if we're addressing an addition or a structure, and then we'll have the survey by then as well.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we postpone BZA 21 BZA 01 until such time, actually for next month, until such time as we have information back as to whether this is a separate structure or a attached modification to the building.
An addition, okay.
In addition, thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, Rachel?
Okay, Dave Anzera,
Yes.
Dale,
yes,
Randy,
Yes.
Dave Lindros,
Yes.
and Chairman.
Yes. Okay.
I sincerely apologize, Mr. Chairman, but our IT support staff, he has recognized an issue with the sound through the stream, and he's isolated the issue, but it will require him to interrupt our meeting for approximately 15 seconds is his estimation of time.
Well, that's quite all right with me.
All right, and this change won't, yeah, he can't hear anything. This change won't affect anyone in attendance. You will just see the main camera in the meeting room shut off for that approximate 15 seconds.
Okay.
Harley,
Yes,
should we have a backup, like record the?
it's recording. It's recording. Yeah, it. Oh, you mean for the sound?
Yeah.
Did you have an issue when you were?
When I looked at the last night's meeting, I just had to turn up my volume. I could hear everybody, but I had to turn it up.
Okay, here, let me double check what we're sounding like. But he's gonna be fixing the issue.
I'm just thinking for minutes.
Oh boy.
It's like I'm having my computer looked at by some guy on the other side of the ocean.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to start humming the Jeopardy theme.
Okay. We are all set, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we're back? All right,
Yes.
very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Am I the only one live on mic?
Can you hear us, Rich?
Rich,
Jason.
can you hear us,
No,
Rich?
I can hear you, Rich.
Yeah, you're live too. So
Oh, he
listen,
muted us.
how would you like to talk about roosters?
Oh, I bet.
About what?
I don't want to talk about roosters.
I missed that one.
Okay.
I can hear you, Rich, but I can't hear them now.
We're not talking.
Who said that?
Can you hear,
Mike
can you hear
Brown.
anybody, can you
Hi,
hear me
Mike.
right now?
Hi, Mike. I think
Hi.
everybody else is muted except Jason and I and Harley,
How about now?
who is showing up as Mike Mannery for some reason.
Hello.
I can hear you, Mr. I can hear you guys.
You can hear us in the town hall?
Yep.
Yeah, now I can too.
Okay, yeah, Harley.
Okay.
I could hear you before.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Rachel, if you would please read case 21 BZA 02, please.
Okay, applicant shared Sefranic, sorry if I butchered that. Managing member submitted a conditional use application on behalf of CCM Shop LLC for property located at 1808 Northridge Road. The request is to allow outdoor dining and outdoor recreation or volleyball in association with the permitted use as an indoor restaurant or bar. And bar.
Okay, I find no error in our zoning inspector requiring a conditional use permit under 1202L for outdoor dining requires a conditional use permit. Is there anyone here from the applicant to speak in favor of what they want to do? I don't see anybody.
Tom, this is Rich speaking. I had communication from Cher Safranek and also Crystal Henshaw, two of the partners in the CCM shop. Earlier today, I gave them invitation linkage to be able to join the meeting. And it was confirmed that they received it, but they're not here. So this, let me just explain. This is the former Sam and Tommy's operation on Northridge Road, slightly west of the Bohall Road intersection with Northridge. They are actually doing the same thing, have basically the same game plan, business plan. I'm disappointed they aren't here. I always recommend to applicants that they make themselves available to answer questions that the board might have. And since they're not here, that can't happen. But that is all the information I can give at this point in time. Aside from any historical knowledge I have about former operations at that site.
Okay, I looked at it. I was out at the property, and it looks like it would be a nice addition to the township, but to me, their hours are confusing that they have in the application. I don't know if any other members are confused by their hours. I don't know if they want to operate from Friday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2:30 in the morning, or if they just want to go 11 a.m. to 2:30 in the afternoon and then reopen at 6 and go to 10. So again, I'm confused with the hours. Sunday through Thursday, they want to go 11 a.m. till midnight, but the weekends have gotten me confused.
The weekends, I'm 99% sure it would be 2:30 in the morning, just as Sam and Tommy's operated. I used to play volleyball there. The only other question, I know they're looking to open up that volleyball court. If we prolonged it till next meeting, would that, do you have any idea when they're looking to start volleyball, Richard?
Well, they did tell me that they were anxious to open indoors, and I told them once I gave them the permits to occupy the premises, they were good for all their indoor operations. Their outdoor operations are dependent on weather. So I'm just not sure. You know, the weather has been a little bit more favorable so far this year than it has in the past couple of years to outdoor activities during the month of April. So I kind of think they would like to take advantage of that. But I'm truly disappointed they have not been able to join us and state that for their own behalf.
Did Sam and Tommy's, did they have a license to go to 2:30 in the morning?
Um, the former operation was actually named Jam's Midnight Moon Saloon, I believe.
Sounds like you were there, Rich.
And they were approved to operate as a typical bar with mandatory closing hours by 2:30 a.m.
Okay. Were there, well, everyone in the neighborhood had this as well. No one is signed in the meeting to oppose it. Is that correct?
To the best of my knowledge,
It's
correct.
unfortunate that they're not here. I hate to assume hours. Does the board have any?
Mr. Chairman, I see the Friday, Saturday hours as being 11 a.m. to 2:30 a.m.
Okay.
And then the outdoor dining with the same hours, but their live music on Friday and Saturday would go 6 to 10 p.m.
Okay.
So letting us know that live music wouldn't start before 6 and wouldn't end after 10.
Okay.
And
Well,
Mr. Chairman, in looking at their Facebook page, it looks like they want to start volleyball beginning the first week of June.
okay. So that would give them another opportunity to get back here in May. I don't know. I'll leave it up to the board how you want to do it. I mean, they filled out a very thorough application. It looks like they read the requirements, and they included everything that's out there, even their wash basins and everything else. So they included everything that was required of them.
Is the music outdoors?
The
Yes.
music is outdoors, correct?
That's what as I interpret it and read it, I see the music is outdoors from 6 to 10 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah, they have a little kind of pavilion-ish type area back there, and
It's all enclosed.
mm-hmm.
We haven't heard any response from any neighbor opposing this. They've got the same thing just to the east of them with
Right.
Zappatelli's place.
Right. It looks like the fence they have there, it looks like a relatively new fence. Went up there today and looked at it.
Yeah,
so-
I had to jump to look over it.
Yeah.
I know they're doing some improvements to the volleyball courts before they could get started on it, because the previous owners weren't really playing that much volleyball out there. So I know they've got someone headed up for doing the leagues, and I mean, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I don't really see too much of an issue here. I understand that it's a little tougher when you don't have the applicant here to speak towards any questions. I mean, if there's any questions, I suggest we continue next month, but if there isn't,
The only questions I had were on the hours, and it sounds like they've been clarified through our legal counsel and the way that it's written up here.
Would it be appropriate if we were to, if we were to decide to vote on the motion, to explicitly state it's our interpretation based on the application that your operating hours are these, and if it's anything different than that, you need to come and.
We just put them in the conditions.
Yeah, okay.
Make it, that's the condition of the conditional use permit.
That's true.
So yeah, I'm fine with it if somebody wants to make a motion to proceed. It's somebody that wants to do a business here in the township, and
I'll make the motion to approve 21 BZA 02 with the conditions of the hours of operation being Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m., Friday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2:30 a.m. Outdoor dining is the same. Live music being on Friday and Saturday, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I think that would be it unless any member has anything else to add.
I would just add that it's the same seasonal as they have spelled out in their application with the number of people that they're talking about.
To be through May through September. That one says approximately.
Yeah.
And I guess we could say give or take a month.
Sure.
And the occupancy is 106 people to employ approximately 20 people.
Question, since this is a conditional use permit, do we need to specify an amount of time that this would be valid for?
Yeah, I mean, 1 to 5 years.
1 to 5 years.
1 to
yeah.
5 years.
And with a 5-year conditional use.
All right, so you want to go 5 years on it, okay.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded.
Can you repeat real quick the hours,
So the hours of operation would be Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m.
11 to 12 a.m.?
to 12 a.m.
Okay,
Friday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2:30 a.m.
okay,
and live music on Friday and Saturday, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.
okay. Is that it?
for the hours. That's
Yeah,
all I have
okay.
on this.
That was the only thing I was missing. Okay.
Okay.
So, Dave Lindros motioned, Randy seconded. Okay, so Dave Lindros,
Yes.
okay. Randy,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Dave and Zara,
Yes.
Chairman.
Yes. Okay. You can let them know that they got lucky, Rich.
Well, you know what? Their operation is going to be very similar to what's been going on. I am truly disappointed they could not connect tonight.
Well, sometimes maybe they know the restaurant business and not the computer business too well, because it's happened to
Well,
me. So,
yeah, and one other thing, when I'm not sure how to do this, but the motion which got approved talked about operating hours from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. But I think it would be more appropriate to say 11 a.m. to midnight.
you can say that. It's the same thing, but you can say it.
On the same day, because that's what the real intention is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
11 a.m.
I have some news to share with you in a little while. which will make you understand my concern for, kind of tidying up a couple things. But, just for posterity's sake, maybe somebody should clarify that the 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. means 11 a.m. to midnight on the same day.
Jason, can we just add that in as a note?
Yeah, I mean,
11 a.m., 12 a.m., and then parentheses, midnight?
yeah, I don't see any problem with that. And it's half a dozen of one, 6 of the other.
Yeah,
I understand Rich's clarification, but midnight is 12 a.m. So yeah, I don't see any problem with just kind of throwing in parentheses,
So Rachel,
midnight,
if you'll
just so
throw it in
everyone's clear.
parentheses in the hours, 12 a.m., parentheses, midnight.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thanks, Rich. All right,
Okay.
so now, Rachel, if you will read case 21 BZA 03.
Applicants Daniel and Rhonda Gamber filed a variance application for property located at 29 Pineview Drive. The request is to allow construction of a 1,536 square foot detached garage in violation of section 14.02 C4, which requires that no accessory building be larger than 875 square feet.
Okay, at this point, I find no error in our zoning inspector requiring a variance for this. So at this point, Jason, would you like to swear somebody that I think is going to speak on behalf of this?
Yeah, is it Gamber or Gamber?
Gamer.
Gamber.
Yes.
And I assume you're here to speak for the requested variance?
Yeah, I am Dan Gamber.
Okay. Well, if you just want to raise your right hand. And do you solemnly swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Witness is sworn in, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. All right, so we asked if someone to speak in favor of the request, and Mr. Gamber, if you want to go ahead and explain what you want to do.
Yeah, basically, I just want to put a detached garage on my property, basically just for storage of vehicles, four-wheelers, motorcycles, and a motorhome. That's basically it. I mean, it's only a storage building. At this time, there will not be a drive that goes up. It'll just be the grass until further funds allow. I did get approval from all the attached residents or neighbors in my area that touch the property. Nobody seems to have any issues, with the structure being where it's at. I also gave them a map of the layout of the location, the size, and I also did get approved by the county for a building permit as well. So that has already been approved, which that was a question on the other case. But now I'm just asking approval from the township.
Okay, I would let the record show as well that we have 5 letters attached of neighbors who are approving this, that have no objection. What kind of construction are you looking at? Is this going to be a block building, a stick building on a slab, or what?
It's actually going to be a brick foundation, and then from there it's going to be a 2x6 wooden structure that will have vinyl siding, vinyl windows. It'll be an asphalt shingle roof. It'll have insulated doors. There'll be a man door, and then there'll be 2 bay doors.
And apparently you'll be running power to it underground?
Yes, but probably not at the right away.
I'm sorry, I'm having a little difficulty.
Yes,
Hearing
the
you.
intent is to have power and water, but it just won't be right away.
You say water?
Eventually, but it won't be right away.
Oh, okay.
Just to wash cars and put a sink to wash hands. That's about it.
Is that sewer or septic out there?
We have septic.
Septic, okay. All right, anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone to speak against the request? Any other questions from the board?
This may be a moot point, Mr. Chairman, but just technically on the application, the variance is for 1,536 square feet, detached garage. The drawing shows less than that, but it doesn't matter, I presume, on the drawing. It just needs to be something representative. Is that accurate?
Well,
The drawing's slightly smaller. I think it's around 1,440 square feet.
the 45 by
Correct.
32?
I don't know that it matters, but
Probably doesn't, but it would be nice to. Mr. Gamber, can you address that? Did you hear that? One of our board members said that the request is for 1,536 square foot building, and on the drawing, if you do the math, it comes up somewhat less than that. What is the actual?
1536 was, for some reason, it would be your calculation. I just put the size building on there, and then when I got my application, it had the 1536 in there.
Yeah, your measurements that you provided on your application were 48 by 32. Let me just double check my math.
He's got 45 by 32 on his.
Yeah, so on your initial application that was submitted, the dimensions that you provided were 48-foot width by a 32-foot depth, which is where the 1536 came from.
It is going to be the 45 by 32. There was a discrepancy between the builder, and there was a lot of different papers as far as I don't know how to say it, like the quotes that we got, and somebody had the wrong dimension, and that actually got in hands of the construction guy, and that's where the foundation paperwork and stuff like that did have the wrong dimension. So for clarification, it is 45 by 32. That is the correct, which would make the 1536 square footage bigger than what it actually is.
Would you come up with 1430?
1440.
1440, okay. All right, do we need to change the request to say 1440, Jason? Or is it,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
just
so-
amend the request to be a 45 by 32 and 14 or whatever the number. I'm not good at math.
All right, so Mr. Gamber, on your application, you're asking for a 1,536 square foot detached garage, and we're asking, you want to change that to 1,440 square foot, is that correct?
If that is 45 by
That's the
32,
45 by 30, yeah, by 32.
yes.
So if we can make that change to the application, and we can vote that way. Okay? So you're okay with that, Mr. Gamber?
I am, yes.
Okay. All right, so the change is noted. Any other questions from the board?
I do have one more question. I'm sorry. And maybe because a building permit has already been approved, this is a moot point. But typically, when someone puts up a large structure like this, one concern I always have is drainage. And is it this board's responsibility to question drainage since we're taking up square footage of the groundwater at that point?
Rich?
We have no regulation on that. That is the county's job as of this time.
Thank
Okay.
you.
You haven't gone for any permits or anything yet then, right, Mr. Gamber?
He has.
It's
He
been
has.
approved by the county.
Okay. Has there been any mention of groundwater runoff or anything? Have they mentioned that to you?
I'm going to say no. I
Okay.
mean, we did, the roof runoff is going to be just to the ground like my house is. But the drains in the building is going to go to the septic tank.
I think what we're concerned about is you're changing it to a surface that's not going to absorb water anymore, and you're going to
Understand.
maybe get some runoff. But that's up to the building building people, and they may have to recommend a French drain or something, I don't know. Okay, any more?
I'm good. Thank you,
Okay,
Mr.
good.
Chairman.
Thank you for your diligence in that. All right, so someone like to make a motion?
I'll move that we approve the variance request BZA case number 21-BZA-03, amended to reflect the construction of a 1,440 square foot detached garage as opposed to a 1,536 square foot with the dimensions of 45 feet by 32 feet.
Okay. I think I might skip ahead here. I guess I can do that as chairman. We've got Mr. Brown hanging on here, and he's here for a renewal of a conditional use permit. Is that correct, Rich?
Yes.
Well, that's new business. No, we got to stick with. I'm sorry, we've got to stick with the cases. So, Rachel, if you would please read case.
I'll second the motion.
Yeah, we gotta finish the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Sorry, I was thinking ahead.
Want to get out.
All right, motion been made and seconded. Rachel.
Okay, Dave Nzera,
Yes.
Dave Lindros,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
and Chairman.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we're just going to stick to the agenda here. So, Rachel, if you would please read case 21 BZA 04.
Do I have to stay? Or can I leave?
You can leave, Mr. Gamber.
Okay. Thank you.
No, you can.
You know what? Should we journalize this? Are you looking
Oh,
to build?
When do you
soon,
want to
or-
start this, Mr. Gamber?
They want after April. I want to start by 3.
I can't understand him.
I'm sorry. Will
Hey,
you, will you say
Mr.
that
Brown,
again?
can you mute your mic, please?
Sure. The construction project was going to be like the first week of May, just to let the April showers kind of take its place.
We'll explain. This really didn't become official until next month's until these minutes are approved next month, but we can journalize this decision so you can move ahead right away. So that's what we're going to make a motion to do, is to journalize this decision for you.
Okay, so it does have clearance to continue as well.
I'll make a I'll make a motion to journalize 21 BZA 03.
I'll second that motion.
Rachel?
Okay, Dale,
Yes.
Dave Lindros,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
Dave Nzera,
Yes.
and Chairman.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Gamber, you can come in, you can go in and see our zoning people here. Give them a day or so to get some paperwork done, then you can start working. Okay?
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, Rachel, if you would read case 21 BZA 04. Thanks, Dave.
Okay. Applicant Chuck Stewart of Giant Eagle filed a variance application for property located at, sorry, my brain just went blank. I can't read the address.
1201.
1201, thank you. Menor Avenue. The request is to allow installation of 2 canopies, 2 point-of-sale kiosks, and 2 liftgate mechanisms with proposed setbacks from the Menor Avenue right-of-way of 22 feet at their nearest point and 36 feet at their furthest point in violation of section 22.05A, which requires in any B1, B2, or B3 district that no structure of any kind except signs be erected within 50 feet of the right-of-way sideline of a road.
Okay. Again, I find no error in our zoning inspector requiring a variance for this. We're going to ask if there's someone to speak in favor. I believe that's Mr. Stewart. So, Jason, if you would go ahead and swear Mr. Stewart.
Sure. Mr. Stewart, can you just state your name for the record?
My name is Chuck Stewart.
All right, and if you'd please raise your right hand. And do you solemnly swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you.
Witness is sworn in, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Stewart, if you'd go ahead and tell us what you're proposing to do, what you'd like to do.
Okay, sure. My name is Chuck Stewart. I'm a development manager from Giant Eagle. We are seeking a variance approval tonight to install 2 canopies, 2 point of sales, and 2 gate lift mechanisms for our existing car wash. The canopies, the structures are the canopies. Um, I'm not sure if you guys have a copy of the drawings, the details in front of you. They're an accessory structure away from the principal structure of the building. They're it's an open-ended structure. There's not any walls to it. So we're looking to add a members lane for our car wash to allow people to just kind of have a sticker in their car to go through and not have to worry about paying. There'll be a monthly charge, and they'll be able to go straight through into the car wash without having to wait to pay. So that's kind of our plan of why we are doing this.
Okay. Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone else to speak against? Any questions from the board? Rich, any concerns? Harley, any concerns here?
I have none.
Rich has no concerns.
Okay. All right, if someone would like to make a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve 21 BZA 04.
I'll second.
Who seconded? Okay.
All right, Rachel, the motion's been made and seconded. If you want to call the roll, please.
Okay, Dave Lindrose,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Dave and Zara,
Yes.
and Chairman.
Yes. Mr. Stewart, before we go any further, what's your timeline on this? Something you want to get started on right away?
The goal is to hopefully have it completed by Memorial Day.
All
That
right,
is the
so
plan.
you would like us to go ahead and journalize this instead of waiting for the minutes to be approved next meeting, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, so if someone would like to make that motion.
I'll make the motion that we journalize case number 21 BZA 04.
I will second.
Rachel?
Okay, Dave and Zara,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Dave Lindrose,
Yes.
and Chairman.
Yes. Okay, that concludes the public hearing. So we will now open the regular meeting. Acknowledge of the minutes from last week, I think. Have you been able to see those? Dave and Zara, Ken's not here, and Randy?
Yes.
No problems with the meetings, with the minutes? All right, so let the record show the minutes are approved from the last meeting. Any old business? New business, we have a case here for a renewal of a conditional use permit, 11 BZA 02 R21. Would you read that, please, Rachel? If you have it in front of you there?
Yes. Okay. Applicant Michael Brown submitted a conditional use application on behalf of Mike Brown Customs for property located at 869 Richmond Road. The request is for 5-year renewal of the existing conditional use permit, which originated on April 12, 2011. Original conditions were 5-year term and hours of operation, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay, again, Jason, does he need to be sworn here if he wants to, it's just a renewal?
I mean, I see Rich shaking his head, but we're not in a public hearing, so it'd be my opinion that he does not need to be sworn.
Okay. Mr. Brown, you just want to tell us where you are, what you've done in the last 5 years, and everything's good, or?
Yeah, everything's good. We took a bit of a hit with COVID, as a lot of businesses did. We did do some improvements to the building. We have some plans to go further and do some more. Unfortunately, we had had a roofer come in and supposedly fix the roof for us, and he took all the money we had on plans to repaint the building, but the roof's still leaking. So we've had some estimates on redoing the whole roof now, and we're trying to get the funds saved up to be able to do the outside of the building, and we'd like to do we want to put the front. We'd like to do like 4 foot up with a stone, and then do siding from there up, and then just paint the sides of the building. So we're trying to get some improvements done. It's just been hard financially.
Okay, thank you. Rich, any concerns or any issues in the last 5 years? Rich,
Pardon?
any issues in the last 5 years with this permit?
Really no. Um, it, there's been a lot of illicit activity around Mike's property, but he has done a pretty good job of keeping true to his word.
Okay.
And maintaining his property the way we expected.
All right, good. All right, would someone like to make a motion to renew the conditional use permit?
I'll make the motion to renew the conditional use permit of case number 11 BZA 02R21
I'll second,
for another 5 years.
and I will second.
All right, Rachel, motion's been made and seconded. If you'll call the roll.
Okay, Dale,
Yes.
Dave Lindrose,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
Dave Nzera,
Yes.
and Chairman.
Yes. Okay. All right, with that, we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everybody, for your patience on the screen up there. It's nice that we have some people back in live stream here. We're rounding the
Yes.
third and heading home, I hope. So we'll see.
Thank you.
Rich, do you know if there's anything on schedule for next month other than this one that we continued?
Tom, I am happy you're so anxious to adjourn the meeting, but I have to share some news with you.
That's right.
Next Friday, April 23rd, will be my last day
What?
with the township.
What?
I am retiring, and and that's all I can say. I am really gonna miss you guys because the Board of Zoning Appeals, you guys have been so impressive in the way you've handled cases and handled meetings where there was controversy. It has been a truly, truly great experience working with you. But the time has come where I don't know if you guys realize how old I am, but I'm up there, guys.
Are you like 55? Come on.
And it's time for me to ride off into the sunset. I was going to put a cowboy hat on, but I couldn't get into the closet where it's stored. So it's over yonder. I'm riding into the sunset over yonder. But I won't be that far away, and I don't want to be a stranger. I have absolutely worshipped working with you guys. I respect and admire you, and let's stay friends. Let's stay in touch somehow. But it's time for me to move on and do some different things.
Well,
Congratulations,
Yeah,
Rich.
congratulations, Rich.
it was
Thanks,
great,
guys.
great to get to know you.
We'll see. I go by your house every
it-
day about 5 times, and you're right across the street from Dale, so.
Yeah,
Keep
right.
an eye on you.
I'll see Dale quite a bit.
Well, you've trained your successor very well.
Say that again.
You've trained your successor very well.
You know what? Harley is wonderful. Yeah.
I'm assuming
And,
she's your successor.
You know,
Is that right, Harley?
it's just
Oh, okay.
that it's hard to say, and I don't want to get choked up, but the last 11 years has been totally great. I never would I have imagined that I could be associated with and work with so many good people. And you guys are all certainly amongst that group.
Well, thank you.
It's been great, but in my situation, I have to start paying attention to other things. We came a long way as a community. I feel good about the small part I've been able to contribute to that. Um, but now it's time to spend more time with my 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 real close people and enjoy life a little bit.
There you go.
Uh,
Good for you.
without going through the rigid, you know, kind of a schedule that being employed by somebody or something really entails. So, but I have truly enjoyed it. I'll miss the amount of contact that we've had, but I hope we can keep up some kind of contact because I love you guys.
Well, thank you, Rich.
Hey, Rich, we love you too. And we have your mobile phone number, so you can't get that far away from us.
Well, my mobile phone number, by the way, is a township mobile phone
Oh,
number.
gee.
Oh.
So it's going to be changing.
All right.
Well, we all know where you
But,
live, so.
I'll make sure you guys all have it.
Good.
All right, thanks, Rich.
Hey,
We'll miss you.
Rich.
Okay, guys.
Hey, Rich, it's Rachel. I just want to say thank you for training me, putting up with me through the pandemic to be your guys' new secretary. I know we'll be talking over email.
Rachel, listen, you have been wonderful, and we maybe didn't cover everything that we needed to cover, but you've got the basics, and you've got good qualities that are going to take you where you need to go in this job. We're not done yet. I still have a weekend, maybe a half.
Oh yeah, we'll be email.
To kind of share a couple of things that we haven't had a chance to share. But I will always be available. I mean, the township has been a blessing in my life in being a part of moving the township forward has been a blessing, and I will never turn my back on an opportunity to anybody from the township who reaches out and wants to hear my opinion on anything, so that's how it's been, that's how it's going to stay.
Well, when you get that call to ask you to be a member of the zoning board.
There you go.
Oh, now wait a minute. That's going too far. That is too far. No, we have to keep young people involved in our community and moving up. An old fart like me, while many people may appreciate my viewpoints on things, I am not part of the future. I'm part of the past. And that's how it is.
Well, you've added a lot, Rich. Believe me. I've been around here for a long, long time, and you've added a lot to this the whole process here.
Yeah, maybe we
Well,
can,
and-
we can
and
refer to
it-
you as the zoning inspector emeritus.
Yeah,
How's
there
that?
you go.
No.
All right.
Guys, listen, anything I've done, you've been a part of, because it's been a back and forth thing. So it's just been fantastic and great. I appreciate that, but it's time to walk away from that.
Well, good luck, Rich. I'm sure you'll do well in what your next endeavor is.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks
All
for
right.
your
What-
service.
yeah, it's relaxing and maybe golfing.
There you go.
That's not
Or
relaxing.
maybe going out on a boat, Tom.
Yeah, okay.
If I can get the boat to run.
Just follow Dale down to my boat some morning, and we'll fill you up with walleye.
No answer to that? Okay.
All right,
All right,
thanks,
thank
Richard.
you.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, Jason. With that,
Yeah, I should. I get my second shot
can't
on
hear.
Monday, so May meeting, I'll be there in person with all you guys.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. All right, we turn off. Our
Everybody have a
lights.
good night.
Meeting is adjourned.
Too.
Thank you.
Good night.
All right, thanks, guys, for showing up here.
Did you say